What up, buckaroos? Today I'm going to talk about the 3 ingredients that make a good oneer for your film. So, as you probably already know, the oneer is one long continuous take where the camera moves, the actors move, all of the action is happening on screen at once without cutting the camera. Also known as a long take, a one take, a single take. A few examples of this would be the movie 1917 or Birdman. Both of these movies are done, in one take. Obviously not, they're hiding cuts and stuff, but a lot of the scenes in it are actually done in one take, so that it's very impressive and it's very hard. In my mind, there are 3 ingredients that make up a solid oneer. That would be choreography, story, and patience. So let's break down a scene from our latest project, Neighborhood Watch Gang. So in this scene, we're entering into a very important party scene where each of our 3 main characters they all have different motives in their head. So before we actually get into the shot here, this shot was entirely improvised the day of. I came up with the choreography and everything as we were shooting it. We were an hour ahead of schedule, and I was like, let's open up the party scene with a oneer. And everybody was like, yeah, that sounds cool. It sounds cool until you're ending your shoot day at 3 a.m. and you had to get all the party scenes in one day. But it turned out really well. I say this because if you want to pull off a oneer, I would maybe plan it ahead of time instead of, while you're shooting. That was a mistake by me. I should have thought of it beforehand. But it turned out pretty cool, and I think everybody was actually happy with it. So let's get into it. We shot it with the Fuji X-T3 with the Zhiyun Crane 2 as our gimbal. Josh Schuin was our gimbal operator, and then we had an Aperture 120T. 120T, they don't even sell that anymore. It's the same thing as the 120D, but the T stands for tungsten. We had that in a lantern. We boomed that over the shot a little bit in the distance, and that was motivated from those kind of string lights that we had around, and then we had some practicals everywhere as well. So if you're going to light a no-budget oneer, it's not going to be the most complicated setup ever. Sometimes you just got to throw up a light, and that's all you can do. You have to really just light the space the best you can. Okay, let's talk about the first ingredient, which is choreography or movement. So not only is the camera moving in this scene, but all of the characters are moving as well. Every character has their own motivation, and it's when the camera gets to one point, a character needs to be at that point. But it also needs to look natural. So that's where, acting comes in. The camera is almost like it's a character in itself. She flips over the record. She turns to see this guy with a beer. He tries to cheers her. She's not interested. She flips over, takes a swig of her beer, walks down. We use that momentum of her walking to backtrack a little bit. We use the momentum of the flip of the record sleeve to go back down the table and then see these vintage bags of chips that we have. Somebody comes in, they grab a bag. There's more movement. There's more momentum. As soon as the chips are grabbed, we focus, we pull around and we focus on another character. And as her head turns, the camera is slowly pulling around. So we get that beat right there. Right as we turn away, she turns her head, and then boom, we move to the next spot and we push in on our next character, who is again adding movement. She's pulling her hair back, she's laughing, she's looking around, and that kind of adds to that momentum of the scene. So the camera move in the shot is not complicated. It's really just a U shape. It's really, we're just walking backwards and then walking forwards again. It's really not complicated at all. But the real interest comes in the performances of the actors and the motivation and the movement that they have throughout the scene. It just builds the interest. It draws your eye to different spots, and it really captures your attention. So that is number 1 on here is choreography. Make sure that you have solid choreography. Everything should have some kind of movement or flow if that's what your story is calling for. For us, we were trying to make this shot look like there was a ton of people at this party, but really we had 7 people in this room, so it's not like it was this crazy party or anything. The next ingredient of the oneer is probably the most important one, and that is story. How does it push the story along? For us, this project is about 3 women in the 70s, and they're throwing this party so that they can get more information on the new guy that moved to their town. We want to show the personality of each of these characters in this shot. We have the first girl who leaves this guy hanging, and she just drinks her beer on her own. I think that kind of shows, I'm not really interested in talking to you. I'm more interested in just partying on my own. The next character that we show is Nancy, and Nancy is sad. She's waiting for this new guy to show up because she secretly likes him. She doesn't want her friends to know that she does, but he hasn't come yet. So she's like, where the heck is this guy? I want him there. So she's sad and she's lonely. And then the next character that we see is Diane. Diane is kind of the head honcho of the group, and she is like in her element. She's like, I'm ready for anything to go down tonight. I'm ready for this new guy to show up. I know he's hiding something. She's scoping it out, saying like, all right, everything's in place. I've got everything ready. So the other part of story that we're using this shot for is world building. We wanted to use this shot to also show off the environment that we had created. We put in so much time and effort into building out this set, everything from the wallpaper to the props, to the chips, like all of that. We're like, let's show off the really cool set design that we've done that really helps build the world and sell the fact that this takes place in the 70s, which it doesn't because we shot it in 2021. So we've got choreography and movement, story. The third and final ingredient is patience. So yeah, with a oneer, it's going to take a while, especially like I said, for us, I choreographed the whole thing the day of. Like, I didn't even expect to shoot a oneer. I just came up with the idea, and I was like, what would be a really good introduction to this scene is a oneer. So even pulling off a oneer on this small of a scale is still going to take time. It took us 7 takes to get this shot. A few times I was like, okay, actually let's try and round it out a little bit more. Let's try and get around these characters a little bit easier here. Sometimes people would come in too fast or come in too slow and they wouldn't hit their mark on time. So we'd have to reset. Thankfully for this scene, we replaced all of the audio. So I was able to stand behind Josh and direct the scene and tell people when to come in. It really helps speed up the process. So it's important to be patient because when you are going through 7 takes of the same thing and it's a little bit of a longer shot and everything needs to be kind of perfect, not necessarily perfect because nothing will ever be perfect, but being able to push through and work through a scene like that is helpful when everybody's being patient. It probably took 45 minutes to an hour to get this shot. Once I kind of explained it to people, they were like, yeah, this sounds like a really cool shot. Let's do it. So patience is really the key to all of this because you can have the movement, you can have the choreography, you can have the story, but if you don't have the patience, you're not going to be satisfied completely with the shot that you get in the end because you're going to have to go through a few takes, probably. I mean, maybe you're a one-take wonder, but we are not. If everybody can sit around and everybody can be patient and say, okay, yeah, I understand that take wasn't the best one. Let's do it again. I got it this time. That is when the real movie magic happens, is when everybody works together and everybody's patient and we say, there's going to be a good shot in this. We're going to get it no matter what. So there you go. That is the key to getting a solid oneer in your film. Choreography, story, and patience. If you'd like to see more breakdown stuff like this of Neighborhood Watch Gang or maybe anything else that we've done, you can kind of explain a little bit of behind the scenes to you. And yeah. Anyways, if you like this stuff, let us know in the comments. Also, subscribe if you want. That'd be great. Okay. Have a great day. See you later.